What's going on, and welcome to week one. So, this is going to be the most complicated part of this program, yet again, I'm going to make this very simple. So, tracking your food. Tracking your food is going to be pretty vital to getting you where you want to go inside this program because really dialing in your nutrition, that's just going to help us shed way more fat and get you to where you want to go in terms of not only fat loss, but muscle growth. So, I really need you to track your food because if there's ever a problem that arises, then I can fix it usually just by going into your nutrition and kind of making some tweaks here and there. So macros, what are they real quick? Proteins, fats, and carbs. Now, your fat is going to be high on a keto diet, your carbs are going to be low, and your protein is going to be moderate. And so it's important to stay in the neighborhood of the numbers that I set for you. So I'm going to show you a little bit about tracking and how to use MyFitnessPal. Don't worry, you're going to be using it for 28 days, so and hopefully much more. You're going to get used to it really quickly. So basically, there's just a couple of things I just want you to do. Follow along with the macros. Don't go over protein. Don't go over carbs. Keep fat high and just watch net carbs. And net carbs is just a fancy term for take your total carbs and subtract the fiber, and then you have your net carbs. That's the number that we're really keeping track of. That's supposed to be under 30 grams a day. So just keep track of that, and this should be a very simple process. So stay tuned and keep watching, and we're going to do a quick tutorial now on MyFitnessPal. So we're going to watch that, and you'll get a better idea on how to not only use the app, but maybe some things that you just didn't know if you already knew how to use it.
Hey everyone, just here for some more training. In this video we're going to be going over real quick your macros and ensuring that we can get them correctly and that we can hit them and be in the neighborhood of them. And so we're going to go over the importance of tracking and why it's so important for me to help you, or for your coach to help you, or not only that, but just not going over certain macros like protein and carbs and making sure that we're keeping our fat high. We're also going to be talking real quick again about net carbs if you haven't gotten that down just yet. And lastly, going to finish this off with your task for the week. Now, we're in Trainerize currently, and so you'll notice we're going to go to plans. And in plans, we have this this layout, this user interface, so to speak. And so we have our calories under our Plan A weeks 1 through 4 PDF. And so you'll notice it says the calories, the proteins, carbs, and fats. And these are the numbers that we set up for you so that you can make it to the goal that you had told us about, to the goal that we had talked about. And whether that's the ultimate you, the you at that quality lifestyle, the you at that Spartan race runner, Tough Mudder runner, Olympian, whatever it is that you are ultimately wanting to do, that is what we had set for you, and we're going to get you there with these numbers. Now, it's important to grab these numbers, and then let's just head on over to MyFitnessPal. And again, we tackled this in the introduction, but we'll just go over it real quick briefly. You go to your edit goals, you go to your diary settings, you go to the bottom to edit goals, and you're going to type all this in for us. And ultimately, you're just going to go down to calories, carbs, proteins, and fat goals right here under nutrition goals. Click it, enter those calories that we set for you. And again, it's all going to be set at the percentages that we set for you. And those percentages, I will reiterate, are going to be 5%, not 15% protein, but 20%. And so I'll just change that so you can actually see it. And 75% fat. These are going to be the percentages that you will be operating under for these next 28 days. And this will get you close to the goal that we set for you. And no, we don't want you to hit it perfectly, nor do we expect you to, just in the neighborhood of. Now, you're going to be using these numbers the next 28 days to basically get going on where we want to get you and where you want to go. And so it's going to be important then for you to track your food and make sure that you're tracking so that if there ever comes a problem and say you aren't losing weight, say you have a rash, say you don't feel good, you feel lethargic, myself, or my coaches, anybody that is going to help you will only be able to help you if you are doing the work, if you are doing what you are supposed to be doing. This will ultimately help us help you so that we could better tackle the real problem that is causing the symptom that you're experiencing. And so, one thing that's going to be important on this is, you see these protein numbers and you see these carb numbers. It's going to be very important that you don't go over them. And by carbs, what I mean over is I mean over 30 grams of net carbs, which we'll tackle here next. And by protein, I mean 78 is not that much. It's a very adequate amount though, but at least don't go over, that. If this person's protein is 78 grams, it would not be very productive for them to hit 90 or 100 grams. There's just no reason for it. And so we need to be careful that we don't go over proteins and carbs. Now, one thing that is fine to go over actually, and really to keep as high as possible and close to the number, is fat. We want your fat to be high. Don't be scared to get really close, if not go over a little, your fat number that we gave you. And you will accomplish this by following any of the meal plans to a T that we end up giving you. And so ultimately this is going to be your success in not only feeling great, but getting there and looking there as well. And so you're going to need to follow these numbers. And it's not a daunting task because it's all done for you. Now, real quick, we'll tackle net carbs. And so we'll just head back into our diary. Net carbs is going to be accomplished by going to the top here at the pie chart. You're going to go to nutrients. Now, net carbs is just a fancy word for saying take the total carbs that you'll see right here where it says carbohydrates, and just under that you'll notice it says fiber. Take the carbohydrates number and then subtract fiber, and the fiber is right below it. Subtract those two, and that's going to give you what we call net carbs. Net carbs is what we are ultimately tracking, and that is the number that we set for you, whether it's 19, 22, 25, or 30. That is the number that we want you to hit. And if you go over it, that's completely fine, because we give you that wiggle room, that cushion, that buffer zone, in order so that you can have a little wiggle room and not have to stress about hitting everything perfectly. Now, ultimately, that's the number that we're keeping track of in terms of carbs, so that you don't kind of panic or freak out if you see 40, 50 grams of carbs, but yet you have 20, 30 grams of fiber. That will make you not only feel a lot better, but know that you're still on track.
So your task for this week is very simple. Create, for me, your perfect day. And what I mean by this is very simple. Give me 3 or 4 meals that hits your macros perfectly. And it can't be meals that I've already given you. So for instance, if I gave you a Denver omelet for breakfast, don't give me a Denver omelet. Give me something like a bacon cheddar biscuit or something. Basically, do your own macros for a day with your own meals and just kind of show me, post it in the group, show everyone that, hey, I did my own meal plan for the day. And that's pretty much going to help you learn a little bit about macros and tracking, and then kind of how to create your own things, because what you're going to notice in here is that I post a lot of recipes, and this is going to help keep things creative. So do that, post it in the group, and then just show us.